I just have a question. It struck me earlier when you talked about hairdressing and engineering and forestry that they are very traditionally gendered roles, and we know for the discussion about Modern Apprentice that it's very male-dominated, the Modern Apprenticeship system. You talked about the need for structural reform. Do you see the structural reform you suggested in any way addressing inequalities in the system? So how can we address issues of occupational segregation, particularly in relation to gender, but also we can apply the same to disability? You'll know the committee has done a short piece of work into disability employment gap. Do you see inequalities? How do we address inequalities through the reforms that you've suggested?
Yeah, so I spent some time with a whole range of, I suppose, third sector bodies that were either advocating for gender-based reform or represent marginalised communities. There's talk about veterans reintegrating back out of military service. Talking with Ima Jackson in Glasgow about migrants coming to the country, how we properly profile their skills, match them to the frameworks that we've got already. In saying that there's no single vision for what good looks like in the system, in the absence of that, I wrote my own. It was not perfect, but my view was that every individual in Scotland has equitable opportunity to access the learning they need to thrive. So for me, that equity bit is built right in the heart of it. I do think, again, you can't be what you can't see, comes back to that need for really state-of-the-art careers, advice and provision in schools. And I think some of my experience in talking to groups was that some of that gender bias or unconscious bias or reality in some occupations was ingrained at a really, really early stage. So how we talk about the opportunities, I think will be important going forward. I've also seen, post my review, some pretty amazing ed tech platforms that are being built. There's one called Global Bridge, there's one called Skills Miner that are matching people's skills and potential to jobs that are on offer in a way that is fueled by AI, that is completely anonymous on issues of gender, race, background, age, all of that, which is a really interesting, potential way of doing it. And I suppose if there is unconscious bias certainly sitting within any part of the employer community, getting around some of that. So I think some of that ed tech investment could be really valuable.